On today's episode of Secrets to Scaling Your E-commerce Brand, I got a chance to chat with Jacob Elbaum, the co-founder of Shivook. We talked all about how to increase your average order value. We actually started at the opposite side that I see most conversion rate optimization specialists start at. We walked through the step-by-step process. We talked about all the tools that Jacob uses. It was a really, really good conversation. So if you are looking to increase your average order value, you're looking to increase your customer lifetime value, you're looking to increase your profit, you are not going to want to miss this one. Hey guys, Jordan West back with another episode of Secrets to Scaling Your E-commerce Brand. Today I'm joined by Jacob Elbaum, the co-founder of Shivook. Jacob, welcome to Secrets to Scaling.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to diving into our topic for today. Before we get into that, just tell us our audience, because I'm guessing that there's a few people out there who don't know anything about you. So tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I've basically been in what I call the profit optimization space, which is a mix of the conversion optimization, AOV optimization, LTV optimization as well. And I've been doing that in the e-com niche for about 3.5, 4 years now. Before that, was a growth marketer for one of the largest voiceover marketplaces called Voice123, direct competitor to voices.com, if you guys have heard of them. And
I have not heard of them.
No? Voices.com or
No.
Voice123?
None of them. I don't even know that industry at all. I've never had any use for that industry.
Yeah.
So that's super. That's just a very interesting industry to me. I mean, I think of now, like, has 11 Labs like completely disrupted that industry or yet? Or is it going to?
I don't know. I could tell you that it's been some years since I was in the industry deeply, but I definitely, like, AI was the biggest concern at the time. And I'm pretty sure that is completely stepped on it. So
yeah. I mean, the amount of YouTube videos that I watch that I'm like, I know that this is an AI voice, and yet it's just so good. It's just like the quality seems to be there in a way that I'm like, yeah, I can recognize it, but it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen those Elon Musk ones where it's like a fake, deep fake video of him speaking to his team on like a Zoom call, and it sounds like he's saying ridiculous things, and it's just AI generated.
No, I haven't seen that. I mean, of course it makes sense. You in 11 Labs, you have to put 5 minutes of quality video in. And the stuff it spits out, like the video that it spits out, the audio quality that it spits out is absolutely just astounding. If no one is using 11 Labs out there, you should definitely check it out to iterate on, especially on TikTok ideas, right? It's a really, really great one we're using it at the agency as well to iterate on different hooks. So instead of using the robot voice, you just use the founder's voice. And it's way better. I mean, no one really even knows that it's AI. So really, really cool tool for everyone out there. I wasn't planning on talking about it today, but Jacob, you brought it up, man. You brought up voiceovers. So
No, it's all good. Actually, you just gave me another. There's another interesting company that does that on abandoned cart emails, where they have like the owner send out an abandoned cart email with like a video, and the video's like, "Hey Jacob,
yes.
Hey David, hey George."
Yeah. Maverick, is that the one that you're talking about?
Maverick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know those guys. I know those Maverick guys super, super well. It's actually one of the things we've wanted to implement this at some of our companies too. It's really amazing. There's actually an AppSumo version. I love the Maverick guys, but there is an AppSumo version out there too. That's,
I'm loyal.
$50 lifetime. I'm kind of with you, Jacob. I didn't even buy the AppSumo version because I was like, I want to make sure if I'm going to implement this to like actually use, these guys.
Yeah.
They're just awesome guys. Honestly, I chat with them on LinkedIn almost every day, so it's great. They're good guys.
No, they're solid.
Let's get back. Let's get this train back. I've been listening to too many really conversational podcasts, guys. This is strategic. This is tactical. Okay, that's what we're getting into today. So, Jacob, let's talk about that transition over. Since you've been in e-com in this AOV maximization type of environment, where did you see the problem? Like why were you looking into all of this? What were you seeing brands doing wrong?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things I saw most commonly is a lot of brands will come to me and they'll talk about conversion rate optimization, and some of which aren't even qualified to really be, I should say this differently. They're looking to A/B testing. A lot of the times they're not qualified, or they don't have enough data to even do that in the first place. For those that do have enough data, there still tends to be this expectation where, like, I want to improve my conversion rate, but actually A/B testing is more for learning, and it's kind of like big, let's say, an unclear thing in the overall space.
Okay.
The main thing being is that conversion rate optimization is something that takes quite a long time to do. It's like SEO. You make a long-term investment. Most brands
Totally.
don't understand that. They come into it expecting some crazy impact in 2 months, like double my conversion rate. Anywho, why am I telling this? Because that's actually where I started in all this space, was just in conversion rate optimization.
Gotcha.
And seeing that a lot of clients would like kind of be impatient to get results, I started looking into different ways and innovations. How do I drive revenue immediately? Because at the end of the day, I'm like a performance hacker kind of mindset. I like to, I'm all about monetization, making money, and just
Totally.
helping.
Coming from growth marketing, it's like, of course, that's what you're obsessed with, right? It's like, hey, how do we actually grow and grow fast, right?
Exactly. So it's like I'm looking for those opportunities, and I started to speak with different apps and partners and all these different people, and find these opportunities, find just very tactical ways to kind of, it's like almost like jokingly easily improve the average order value. And I was like, well, if I can do this across many brands, then they're getting a lot more value out of that than what I can do in 2 months worth of A/B testing and CRO. So
Yeah.
that became almost like the main offer. And I would say, like, transparently, it is my primary offer. And on the back end, I still do a lot of CRO, but definitely AOV optimization is like the, you want to get results quick. The what everyone wants to hear. To me, it's achievable. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, awesome. It's funny, before we started recording, we were talking about this weird split test that I'm running right now that makes absolutely no sense. And it is a true split test. We were running 50% of traffic to one free shipping threshold and 50% to another, and just seeing phenomenal results at the lower end of things. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even know if I want to go through this, because I don't want you guys to think that this is somehow the new norm.
Do it. Yeah.
Like, this is not a normal split test that we're running. Basically, the lower free shipping threshold is crushing. Like, the conversion rate, the AOV, the new customer acquisition, all of that stuff is crushing. So I don't know. This is weird. Let's start with some actually tried and true, proven AOV increasing tactics. Tactics and strategies, Jacob. Where do you start when you're looking at a brand's average order value and thinking, how in the world can I increase this? There's got to be some like playbooks on this. Am I right, or is this unique for each brand?
No, you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Absolutely wrong.
No one ever comes on this podcast and says I'm wrong. Okay, Jacob?
It's like Jimmy Kimmel's rules to get on his show. You got to be very careful with what you say.
Yeah.
Does
anyone else miss the Jimmys right now? Like, I used to watch both the Jimmys every single night, and I'm like, when are these writers going to just take a contract? Anyway.
Yeah. And what's his name? Trevor Noah. Everyone's gone. They're all gone.
They're all gone. Seth. I love Seth too. All these guys.
Everyone's gone. But yeah, no, definitely. There's like a roadmap. So the way that I set it up always is I always start off in a 90-day program, because I know what can be achieved in 90 days. Plenty can be achieved in 90 days, and also some optimization can be achieved in 90 days. Doesn't mean that that's the limits to what you can do, but obviously at that point is when you start to do more like specific testing. Okay. 90 days is like a concept testing, or proof of concept, I should say. The way that I split it out is I actually look at a few different areas of the site, and I really break it out in this way. I look at the PDP. I look at the add to cart click on the PDP, because that's a trigger oftentimes for upsells. I look at the cart. I look at the checkout. I look at the post purchase, not in emails, but on the site itself. I look at the thank you page. And then I'll also look at a couple other general things. So usually it starts there, and it's kind of a scan of what is this brand currently doing as it relates to AOV, and trying to push more. Maybe they have subscriptions, maybe they have like bundles. There's so many different things that you can do. And also another question is, are they on Shopify Plus? Are they not? Because obviously that gives some flexibility in the checkout as well. And then on top of that, it's kind of coming up with the different, let's say, tools in my tool belt of what can be actually implemented at these different stages. So from what I've seen, I'm happy to share some of those if you think that's going to be valuable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Jacob, this is the podcast where we gotta name the tools. If now I'm not one to talk, because I've lately been shit talking some software companies out there on Twitter, and I refuse to actually name them. So just so you guys know. So when we're saying bad things about people, I refuse to name. Right. When we're saying good things about software, absolutely. Unless that software pisses me off, and then I will name them. Just kidding.
That goes in the reviews of the App Store.
So I just so you guys, so everyone knows, I had this hilarious incident last week where I had to cancel a software subscription, and they made me book a call to cancel it. And I put it on Twitter, and let me tell you, 1.3 million people do not like that. So never had anyone hate on software companies quite that much before. But and also, Jacob, I forgot to mention, probably 10% of the people that listen to this are SaaS founders. So that is the other people. Anyway, I feel like I'm just going down so many rabbit holes today. Let's get into
screen share the 1.8 million. Send that to that company, to that SaaS company. Be like, hey, guess I'm not the only one who. Yeah, okay, good.
I did. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I said I didn't name you, and I said so just know that I'm not going to, but you need to change your ways. And they got their engineering team on it like that. So yeah, so it's good. It's nice having that, that kind of influence every once in a while. So using it for good, for the good of all these e-com brands out there. Jacob, just a couple of thoughts here about where you're starting, right? I find it very interesting, the place. So I worked with the CRO agency ages ago on one of our brands. And I remember they started on the homepage, right? And I always thought, I'm like, why are you starting so far away way over there when all of the money is at checkout? All of it's over there, right? As far as like conversion rate and all of that. So interesting, because all you've talked about so far is really the cart on. Any reason for that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll even go as far to say that when I start trying to optimize AOV, assuming that the brand has at least 100 transactions a week, and I'd say most that I work with do, they probably have far more than that, then I actually usually start on post-purchase, because that's where my testing is happening. And the main reason is because I don't want to add too much friction pre-purchase. And I just want to see what kind of products people are upselling on. And then like I have a tool, there's so many different, I call them products, but I mean, I'll give you some examples of different products. I mean, there's something like the best upsells that I've seen are either you're basically using some kind of algorithm built into whatever that tool is. That works decently. It depends on the algorithm, and depends on also if you have a lot of things you give away for free in your store for like different. It's hard. Yeah, I won't get too into it, but sometimes the algorithm can be skewed for the wrong reasons. If you have a CPG brand, a lot of the times I'm trying to upsell like the most expensive product in the cart, and to try to get them like to purchase the second one, unless they bought a bundle. Then that I've seen that work well. I've seen the same thing work well when you try to upsell them on the least expensive product in your cart. This is all about testing, right? I've seen also the obvious one, which is a complementary product. So depending on what that brand is selling and the specific products they have in their store, like I don't know, a pair of shoes that go with a pair of pants, for example, if it's like for that particular one. But I'd say the more creative products are things like upselling incognito shipping, or like discrete packaging, or like first in line service, or like mystery products, or custom gifts, extended warranties, premium email support. These are all different things, and that you can kind of implement on that post purchase to see between those products and the other ones of like trying to resell an additional of the same one, or a cross sell. Those are the types of things I will test on the post purchase, and based on what I'm seeing, I'll usually then add in. So like if there's like one offer that's showing post purchase, I'll then add a second offer based on what I'm seeing in that first offer. And in other words, I reverse engineer it. I start at the bottom and I go upwards from there.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense in my mind, especially making sure that you're not going to touch the friction areas first, right? And seeing, because I think you can get a lot of data on those post-purchase upsells. What kind of tools are you liking these days for implementing those?
Yeah, so Reconvert is fantastic for that. Rebuy is also very good. One thing I do have to say I like a lot about Rebuy is they just have there's so many things built into it. So you can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, like you can stuff are all around the site, the cart, the post per everything. So I have to give them a lot of credit. They built out a pretty solid app. Then that's mostly with the post purchase. So when it comes to, there's also like a after sell post purchase, but I don't really use them that much. There's also Bold upsell, also one that I use. But I would say it's usually a mix of Reconvert and Rebuy, depending on just different factors of like ways that I can be doing upselling for that brand. Pre-purchase was probably going to be If Rebuy isn't used already, then probably Candy Rack is the one that I go with on pre-purchase. I'm sure
Interesting. I
there's
haven't heard Candy Rack.
yeah. It's just like they have a lot of creative ideas. Also, they have a good dev team. By the way, that's one of the other things I really like about a lot of these apps is if you know how to use their dev team as well to your advantage, it can save you also on some of those implementation costs. Because a lot of these app dev teams are quite open to helping the merchants
Totally
get it in the way they want, which is really awesome. By the way, like not always.
Yeah, totally. I've definitely found that in the past, right? It's like, just reach out, just ask the question, just be like, hey, are you guys able to like put this little functionality in it? And most times, of course, they're like, yeah, we can do that for you.
All the time. Like, it
Yeah.
happens so much, and like it saves for my clients, it saves dev costs. So and just time in general, because another developer learning that app that they never played with before, it just can take time as well.
Totally.
So yeah.
So we started post purchase. Where do we go next? Where's the next lowest hanging fruit as far as AOV and conversion rate and all of that kind of stuff?
Sure. So there is the post purchase funnel. After that, I then go to checkout/cart. If it's Shopify Plus, I'll look at checkout. So it's kind of a combination. So I'll look at checkout cart, and kind of depending on what makes most sense based off of that post purchase and what type of products upsold, and if it seems like there's like 4 or 5 different potential winners, or if it's just like one or two, then most likely if it's just one or two, I'm probably going to go right to the cart and skip the checkout. Or there's a very common upsell that I do on cart or checkout almost every single time, unless a brand absolutely does not want to do it, which I've seen just for, I don't know, for whatever the reason is, which is shipping protection, shipping insurance. I'm sure you've seen that through so there's apps like Root and Nvidium, and there's like a few others that they kind of do it where they'll charge like $4 for shipping insurance, and you just pay a few extra bucks. The downside of a lot of those apps is that a lot of times they take the money, and then basically they just say, hey, we'll handle your claims for you. From my understanding, talking to merchants, they deal with these claims regardless. Like the merchant deals with the claim regardless. Like they don't have a problem.
And you want to deal with it regardless, right? I really don't think that you want to outsource your customer service to Route. I hate to say it. I mean, Route, they're not a liked app out there in the world. I do not recommend going with them, just so everyone knows. Route, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry, but your business practices suck. And swooped in and created what we all wanted anyway. It's like, why should you be getting the money when we're the one doing all the customer service anyway? So
exactly.
Yeah.
And the couriers oftentimes refund anyways, or like they handle these issues. So it's not like, to me, it's just a pure AOV play to add these types of like shipping protection offerings in there.
Totally. Pure profit too, right? Like that's the same thing as like adding in like digital products, right? If you're, one of the things that we did at one of our clothing companies, we just took our designs and created digital prints out of all of them. Right. And now we have those as upsells. So digital products, huge upsell potential there, right? Like absolutely massive upsell potential. Definitely recommend looking into what you can sell from a digital product standpoint. Even if you can like partner with some other people, let's just say you're in the baby and kids space and you partner with somebody who's selling a parenting course. Right. And now, you're upselling this parenting course or something like that. Right. There's so many different things that you can do at the checkout there. So, and I'm sure lots that you've tested out as well, Jacob.
Yeah, absolutely. Digital products is, of course, it's almost like a little secret hack, because there's really it doesn't cost you anything other than just the cost of making it once, and then you're pretty much good. And there's like a fantastic way to add like a bonus to, it's a great upsell. I would agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. What's one of the things that you see when you're going and auditing stores? Like, what's one of the things that you see that you're just like, oh, this is such a massive mistake that they could be making so much more money on?
Yeah, probably the biggest one I see is any consumable brands store. So anything where, it's like bought on repeat, where you'll go to the product page and you'll just see like a quantity one, and there's absolutely nothing else other than that. Because those stores oftentimes will do very, very, for so many reasons why it's a mistake. I see it as a mistake because obviously try to get people on subscriptions if you can. Also because try to get them on a bundle and buying multiple products if you can, and most likely you can. I also will look to see if they have any kind of loyalty program. I recently partnered with a really new and up and coming called like loyalty app, which works with some really, really big merchants, and
Cool.
they have just a fantastic strategy of giving basically like it's basically a digital subscription in exchange for store credit. So like you pay $10, but you get $12 in store credit. Sounds like
Gotcha.
no brainer, right? But obviously your COGS kind of make that possible, especially in consumable products, when oftentimes it's quite cheap to build to actually manufacture. So those are like a few things that I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, there's so much opportunity here. And also the second reason I want to say it's a huge mistake is because any e-commerce brand that does want to eventually exit or raise capital, a lot of the times one of the key things that the investors are looking at are, what is that monthly recurring, and also how much of it is like due to growth and how much of it is like new customer acquisition versus returning customers. And if you're able to build that subscription, that subscription money, then you're able to come to the investor and say, hey, look, like even if we stopped ads today, we still have estimated 6 more months out where we're going to be getting another $400,000 a month in revenue. So
yeah,
that's the other reason why I see it as a large mistake.
Totally. And guys, just so you know, from like an investor standpoint as well, that recurring revenue, that monthly recurring revenue is valued differently than your regular revenue, right? So like as somebody who has purchased companies in the past, when we're looking at some of their different revenue sources, we're looking at that recurring revenue in a totally different way, because we know that it's basically guaranteed recurring revenue based on whatever the churn is. So very, very important to add those subscription components in if you have the operational capability, obviously. Jacob, I got to ask you the question that I ask everyone who comes on the podcast. What is your secret to scaling?
My secret to scaling? It's a very good question. It's a tough one. My secret to scaling in the big picture is that there is no individual service. I've worked with a lot of e-commerce brands, and I know a lot of e-commerce agencies, and there are the largest handful of them are like, we do Facebook ads, we do CRO, we do AOV, we do email SMS. The secret to scaling, from my opinion, and I'm pretty bold on this, is if those all are not integrated, then you're not scaling your maximum potential.
Yeah.
So there's a lot you can do individually, but when they're all integrated, you can kill it. I mean, you could crush it.
Yeah. I've seen the exact same thing. So coming from the agency and the brand side, right? I see that, right? And so at Upgrowth Commerce, we built that all in together, right? And then if we're not able to do it, then we'll come to awesome people like Jacob and be like, hey, look, our client needs some help here on the AOV side. But really having that one touch point and that one person that's seeing everything, it's so important, right? If you don't have a CMO in-house, find an agency that can act as that person for you, because it's incredibly, incredibly important. Jacob, I got 3 more questions for you. I hope that you're ready.
I am. Let's do it.
Okay. First question, favorite tool or app that you're using right now?
Tool or app is going to be convert.com.
Oh, how come?
Because I still do quite a lot of optimization and A/B testing, and they are, let's say, the best replacement I have found so far for Google Optimize, which is gone in a second.
Yeah, that's right. That was very sad for a lot of people when Google Optimize decided to sunset. Considering Convert is awesome. It's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, you pay for it, exactly.
Yeah. Comparatively, everyone had this for free before, so it's difficult, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'll support the underdog, the growing underdogs, and also tell you guys about Shoplift. That's also a cool up and coming one. It's a Shopify.
I've heard so many things about Shoplift.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's pretty neat. I did demo with them. I got to give them credit for it's really, really cool. They come from the venture capital world, so like they know product very, very well, and I was impressed. Still a few things to work out in the actual, like I've tried to implement tests with it. Still a few things to work out, but it's very good. It's very good.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, I think they've got some cool AI features built in too, don't they?
Yeah. They have one that's really, really cool. It's not perfect for everyone, but it's good for like the smaller brands that just want to like quickly implement an A/B test and try see what it is.
Yeah, awesome. Second question for you: favorite podcast or audiobook that you're listening to right now?
Oh, I mean, I gotta give hands down. I gotta put it on $100 million leads. Alex Hormozi.
Oh yeah, I know. I've just slowly started to get into that. I just haven't had time since he released it, but that guy is a master. He put on a master class of how to build a launch. Right? If you guys want to launch something, just look at what Alex did, and it was phenomenal. The guy just gets
Marketing.
psychology.
Yeah.
Psychology and marketing. Like, I mean, marketing is psychology, so it's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although I will say that his launch starts from the moment he even started any personal branding whatsoever. In other words, it's the actual strategy is rooted so far back and never asking for anything from anybody other than the brands that he wants to get equity part of and help them scale. Is brilliant. He's really brilliant.
totally. It's the Gary Vee playbook too. I like, back in the day, like 2013, 2014, whenever Gary Vee started to, get out of the wine business
Yeah.
and into the agency business, I remember I didn't understand it. I was like, why is he putting out all of this stuff? This is so much time. He's putting all this out, and I could never understand because there was never an ask. There was never a place where
Right.
he was asking for any money, or like, I'm like, how do you make money off of this? And I didn't understand personal branding and how all of that works.
Right.
And following that Gary Vee playbook is phenomenal. It's just like, guys, if there's agency people listening to this, just put out so much value that people are like, what is their deal? Like, what do they want out of this? And then find a way to monetize on the back end, because people will want to work with you in some sort of way. So it's just incredible. It's a great playbook to use.
Yeah, and you can extend that out. The longer time that you don't ask for anything, the more like leverage you have in the marketplace down the line. So if you just delay that as much as you can, larger and faster the audience grows, and at some point, you got you have something in your hands. Let's put it that way.
Totally. I mean, you've got more than anybody has, right? That bank account is so full from people that once you start to like ask for a withdrawal here and there, then it's absolute gold. I mean, the other reason that I love the Hormozi playbook is that what he's doing, like getting equity in these companies and buying some of these companies, it's the biggest possible leverage that you can do, right? It's the biggest, and yet it still seems like a give. Because it's like, oh, sweet, I want Alex Hormozi to be one of my investors.
He's gonna help me grow the business. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, 100%. He's putting his playbook into that business one time and continuously, because he has equity, continuously getting paid for it. Basically, it's really great play. It's just fun to watch. It's really like admirable. So I enjoy the journey of watching whatever he's doing.
Absolutely. Me on this side as well. Jacob, last question for you. You just found out you have a year to live. What changes?
Oh man, I kind of act that way already anyways, but
Right.
Yeah. What changes? I just spend all day, all night with my family, my daughter, my wife, and that's how I live my life. Every day I wake up, have a cup of coffee, go to a cafe, go to a pool, maybe hang out, relax. But yeah, family first above everything else.
It's great. It's great. I have 3 little kids as well, and it's so interesting to like see the way that they live. Like there's just no worries. They just like, what are we gonna do today? I don't know. Go hang out outside. Like I don't know. I just don't think we were meant to work the amount that we do. I think building things is incredible. I love doing it. I love having combos like this. But like, we really need to take a look at the way that we're living our lives and what we're actually living for. There's this great video called Happiness that was released years ago, and it's these like it's just about a 4-minute video. Just search it up, you'll see it. It has like 40 million views or something, and it really encapsulates this rat race that we've kind of put ourselves into, and how it's like, wait, none of that's the point, right? Like this is the point. You spending this time and deepening these relationships with those people that are so close to you. That's the point, guys.
Yeah, there was the great question. The kind of like the thing that makes it so clear in society is, oftentimes you'll ask someone, what do you do? What do you do for a living? What do you do? And what's the first thing that they say? They talk about their work, and that's the problem.
That's right. That's just like, oh, that's how instead, maybe what we should ask is, hey, how do you make money? Because that's really that's the question you're trying to ask, is like, how do you make your money?
Yeah. I was gonna say some YouTubers are busy doing that, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciated your time today. Where can people connect with you and find out how you can help them increase their average order value and conversion rate and profit and all of these things?
Sure. Website's best, or LinkedIn. Both are good. Shivook.com, or search me on LinkedIn, Jacob Elbaum.
Awesome. And guys, remember, we will put all of this down into the show notes. So all of that will be down there. We really are obsessed with making sure that we comb through our episodes and put all of these links that we've talked about in the show notes. So any tool that Jacob and I talked about will be down there. So please go and check that out. Thank you again, Jacob, so much for your time.
Thank you too. Thank you. Have a great one.